Welcome back to One Piece Anime Re-Review, Part 19B. This one covering episodes 151 to 161. Yeah, this is the portion of the episodes where it kind of starts, like, let's say, getting to, not exactly toward the very end, basically, it's kind of about halfway through the story. Now, at the end of the previous one, basically Sanji, Luffy, and Zoro lost their shadows, and they all got dropped off the ship. Pretty much Usopp, Frankie, Robin, and Chopper all ended up back in the ship because that's where they ended up. So they pretty much wake him up after basically beating him up, and the way they wake him up basically is the most hilarious way possible. First they beat him because that doesn't work. And then basically, I think it's Usopp who says this: "Meet beautiful swordswoman." Oh, that's actually quite funny, and that wakes up the three strongest fighters of the crew. I thought that was so hilarious. So, yeah, basically, they also get a little bit reveal of Brook's backstory a bit, not fully explored here per se. But it's revealed that he is part of the very same pirate crew that left Laboon at Reverse Mountain. Yep. He is the one who's basically, he's not exactly the one decision was his captain. But yeah, he's part of that crew. And pretty much Frankie asks him an obvious question. What keeps you going? And he says, a promise with a friend. What promise? To a whale named Laboon. And then when Luffy, Sanji, Zoro, and Usopp hear about this, they say, and this is true, we know that whale and we know the promise. And they show stock footage, mostly of the Reverse Mountain arc, which has Laboon as well. The arc itself was just 2 episodes. And it's interesting, though, they don't show the whole thing per se. It just basically lots of stock footage. They didn't show the inside of the whale like they did in the actual arc itself, and they didn't show Vivi or Mr. I think it was Mr. 9, I think it was. Yeah, Mr. 9. They didn't show those two. Yeah, they didn't show, it's basically show bits. They even showed the small gag of basically the doctor doing back of it, bam, bam. I thought it was so funny they included that, but yeah, they included that. I thought it was quite interesting, the fact they included that. So basically, Luffy and basically this is most of the crew minus Nami. She had kidnapped by Absalom. And here's the thing: they all pretty much like gear up to basically deal with Gekko Mori. Basically, where Luffy wants to kick his butt, Zoro wants to go after the samurai. So is Frankie. And Luffy tells Sanji, go get Nami. And he's like, oh, heck yes. Oh, yeah. And Usopp also tells him, the guy who kidnapped Nami also peeked at her in the shower. And that makes him more angry. Yes. I thought that was so funny. And then pretty much we have them running across the island. And they sort of get separated in the way. They have one group basically made of Sanji, I think it was like Robin, Frankie, Usopp, and Chopper. Actually, it's Zoro, Frankie. Yeah, Zoro, Frankie, Robin, and Chopper, along with Usopp. And of course, Sanji, does eventually find where Nami is in the chapel where Absalom's about to marry her. And of course, we also have Oars going on a freaking rampage, shake up the island, trying to swim. And eventually, even though he still retains some Luffy's traits, he starts losing, let's say, memories of Luffy. So he drops the whole King of the Pirates thing. He also beat up some of the generals. And then pretty much when he's about to kiss Nami, who is unconscious, by the way, she knows nothing what's going on here. This looks like she's put in a beautiful wedding dress. lucky enough, Sanji shows up and beats the living crap out of Absalom. He's like, "You stole my dream! I wanted that fruit and you ate it!" and the people there is like, "So there's like Absalom, you're a pervert." Which is indeed true. Sanji is a pervert. And they even show that underneath his shirt that Absalom wears, he apparently has got like 600 pounds of muscle. He has gorilla, elephant, mouth of a lion. And of course, Sanji beats him to a pulp. And he basically is protecting Nami to make sure he doesn't get blood in her beautiful wedding dress. Meanwhile, though, Usopp comes across Petra, who's there with Frankie, Robin, Chopper, and Zoro. Now, Zoro and Chopper deal with... Not Zoro, Chopper. We have Chopper and Robin deal with the two zombies who have Sanji and Zoro's shadows. As in the case of Zoro and Frankie, they go after Brook. Usopp takes on Petra, and he's actually immune to her power. So he's chasing her around. Also, first, before he chases her, he first has to deal with her zombies. He's pretty much going to petrify almost all of them except for 3. There's a couple of them that show up in the very next episode, the last episode, episode 161. And, of course, the bear, the zombie bear. Takes him a while, but eventually petrifies the damn thing. He also petrifies the last 2 zombies, as in the case of Petra. At one point, she gets separated. And then he starts doing something quite silly. He opens up his bag and takes out his Sniper King mask, making his first appearances post Enies lobby, this mask. And he's like, what would Sniper King do? And there's Sniper King mask. And of course, we play the awesome Sniper King song, which gets cut up. And she's like, you're the same person, but you put on a dumb mask. And eventually, of course, thanks to, we get mask knocked off, but eventually finds what Petra's hiding places. Now, Petra also apparently is shown she can fly, she can phase through stuff, she can make stuff explode. Yeah, it turns out she can leave her own freaking body, which I'm like, so leave a body. Sounds like Brook's ability. Though she's got a very similar dub fruit that he does. Not the same exact dub fruit per se, but a very similar one. Eventually, Usopp is to defeat her by scaring her with a bunch of toy cockroaches and hitting her with a fake 10-ton hammer. Which, not the first time he's frightened people with a 10-ton hammer. He actually did this way back at Alabasta, believe it or not. It was so hilarious seeing this thing again. Now, from what I heard in the manga, it's been a while since I read it. Apparently, right after Petra was defeated, she had foaming at the mouth. And it was cut from the anime. Don't know why, but it was. As in the case of Zoro and Frank, now in the case of Brook, he does eventually find Romo, and he ends up fighting him. Very clunky looking fight, like just pressing his sword. Yeah, it's a very clunky fight, and it looks like it's very lazily put together. Now I don't blame the animators for this. It's probably representing the manga. So, and then looking up, of course, we have Zoro and Frankie just randomly show up. Of course, Brook is about to be killed anyways by his own zombie carrying his own shadow. So Zoro steps in and fights him instead. He asks the question, I heard about you. Is it true you slayed a dragon? Yeah, that part is true. It's from the actual one-shot. And then they somehow end up on top of the frickin' roof of the mansion. Also forgot to mention this. Now, when they had oars jump down, he apparently took out the bridge. That's how Sanji got down there. Luffy's fine. So, apparently, Frankie, because he's a shipwright, just happens to randomly find a bunch of wood just lying around and just builds a power bridge. And of course, Zoro, Usopp, Zoro and Usopp basically are just complaining about it. And lucky enough, they're able to get through it no problem. And well, he's just like, and of course, at the finish of the bridge, Frankie's like, I'm not really keen on this railing. And Zoro's like, wow, good job. And of course, they run across it. That was so hilarious. The fact that even though the bridge was destroyed, he just built one himself. Though how they get out the freaking castle is gonna be explained probably later. Hogback doesn't really do very much in these episodes. He just given second command of Absalom's zombie forces, stands around. Oh yeah, and also Luffy, when he goes after Gekko Mori, he ends up running into Hogback. Of course, Chopper wants to face Hogback, you have to face off against two zombies first, then you can face off against Hogback. Lucky enough that Hogback's own personal zombie, Cherry, which is a woman who died 10 years prior to the events of the series, yeah, those are Nami in the previous episodes, was lucky enough that she tried to throw plates at Luffy, but she's stopped by Robin. Now, I should point out, though, she's voiced by Jim Marceri. Like, this is the third character in the series she's voiced. So it's kind of like, wow. I guess that Todd Heppercorn and Jim Marceri have something in common with Sabbath in one particular series, voicing more than one character. And so basically Luffy gets past no problem, and then he comes across Gekko Mori, who just basically just doing, I'm just so bored. And of course, Luffy he's been called Onion Man, he's been called Fat Man, because Gekko's overweight. I should point out, though, Gekko Mori is 38 years old. Yeah, he's 38, and he has this weird laugh. Of course, well, Absalom doesn't have a laugh. Petra's like, hey. And as in the case of Gekko's like, like that. Yeah, everybody's got their own laugh, per se, in the series. It's quite unique. I've heard some commenters basically thought the laughs were annoying. I love the laughs because it's part of their character. Of course these characters gotta laugh. They're bad guys. What are you gonna do about it? And Luffy tries to fight Gekko, but he's blocked by Gekko's shadow. And at one point he does briefly get past the shadow to him, and he says, "Ow! That hurts!" Of course, he also breaks the railing, and he tries multiple times in the few episodes fighting him. They try to get to him, but he's blocked by his shadow. But don't worry, this is dealt with more later. Otherwise, that's pretty much it to talk when it comes to these episodes. So the only characters fight that does. Oh yeah, and what about Chopper and Robin? They're starting their fight with these zombies that have Zoro and Sanji's shadow. It doesn't get concluded here. I would say the only fight that gets concluded that I can think of is a couple that basically you have Sanji versus Absalom. That's dealt with really quickly, somewhat, but I think it's going to continue on next episodes. But one fight you could definitely say is done is Usopp versus Petra. That only took like 2 episodes. And that's the thing with Usopp. Whenever he fights anybody in the series, usually it takes like an episode or 2. Unlike, let's say, Zoro or Luffy, it takes him 10 to 12 episodes to defeat one guy. Frankie, surprisingly, hasn't had a pony yet to fight. And you're probably thinking, is that weird? Yes, that is pretty weird that he does not have a fight. He doesn't have a pony to fight. Don't worry, now we'll get a chance because she gets woke up later on, so don't worry about that. Yep, so not much else to say about these episodes. They're good. So yeah, that's it for this particular review. My next review is going to be a review of the newest episode of Bart. I was going to do this yesterday, but I ran out of time yesterday, so definitely today will be the next one I do. But not immediately, of course. Probably doing after this video up, okay? See you next video. Bye.